Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Pretty good.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our newest non-numbered episode of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them. Today, you'll be joining us for our Roma watch party. That's actually not a joke. We do have Roma playing on the TV right now. It's muted, but it's just to relieve our stress a little bit.
It's important for us tonight.
We have a lot built up
We
right
just
now.
need to feel good about some things, so we have Roma on the TV. It's muted. It looks great, as it does. But today, as I said, is a non-numbered day. We're not talking about any one specific movie today, but instead, we are talking about the Academy of Motion Pictures Sciences, whatever their actual name is. Nobody cares. But that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the 2019 Oscar nominations and why they, spoiler, are total and complete trash, and why these Oscars will likely be total and complete trash.
So keep listening.
Yeah, if all you're wondering is whether or not the Oscars are going to be good this year, now you know. Very high possibility they are trash. And we're going to talk about why. We're going to go through each and every category that we care about, which I guess kind of makes us hypocrites a little bit. Here's the thing. Oscars and people who are nominated for Oscars, I'm just going to put this out there right here at the start, right? This is my first complaint. And I'll introduce everybody on the podcast in just a moment, but this is my first complaint. If you are nominated for an Oscar, you need to make it as easy as possible from that moment forward for people to view your film. Documentary features, I'm looking at you. Documentary short films, I'm looking at you. Live action shorts, I'm looking at you. Animated shorts, I'm looking at you. Everybody else, you're kind of at the behest of the theater chain conglomerate monstrosity, capitalistic evil, whatever. But let me tell you, if your documentary is nominated for Best Documentary of the Year, I should just be able to go to your website and, you know what, charge me $3. I don't care. But put it on, Google Play Movies and iTunes or whatever. Those things need to be as easy as possible to view, because I'll tell you what, I tried to watch as many of the documentaries as I could this year, and literally 2 of them were available, and both on Hulu. So good for you, Hulu. I was able to watch half of RBG, and it was trash. One of the more boring things I've ever subjected myself to was trying to watch RBG. Just imagine all of a person's friends sitting around for an hour and a half saying how great you are. That's it. That's all that movie is they're like, and when she was 18, she did something super cool, and she met some resistance, and she had a hard time, but she persevered. And they're like, and then this one time when she was 21, she did this really cool thing, and she met some resistance, but she persevered. I got halfway through it, and I was like, I can only hear so many stories about how great RBG is. And I don't even dislike the woman, right? Like, on principle. But holy Hannah, that was a bad documentary. And I was able to watch Minding the Gap, which is actually quite good.
I want to see that one.
It's on Hulu.
I'm going to watch it soon.
Yeah, it's quite good. So those, off the top, those are my complaints about the documentary feature. That applies to animated shorts, live action shorts, documentary shorts, all of it. I should be able to Google it and watch it for under $5. And I'll tell you what, like I said, if you just put it on VOD, like, you're going to make money. So I always go on the documentary websites, and they're like, we have screenings planned for these 58 cities, but for one night only. And just put it on the internet, people. We have a resource here. Use it. Welcome to We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them. We're talking about the Oscars today. My name is Andrew Westonsko. I am the host of this here podcast, joined at my right hand by Becca.
Hello.
And further to my right, because we're all sitting in a line so that we can see Roma on the TV, Sid is here.
Hello.
She's here.
I'm here.
Welcome.
And I'm very angry. Let's get into it.
Oh, we're getting into it. Like I said, we're gonna run through. We're just gonna kind kind of do it like it should be done. We're gonna start with the craft categories, and that's craft with a C, not with a K. We're not talking about mac and cheese here.
Good stuff.
And then we're going to work our way through. And we are going to run into several, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a C, I think. What I can't, have you guys ever had a word just leave your head? Not conflicts. Controversies. Controversies is the word I'm looking for. We're going to run into several controversies as we go. And if we ever need to de-stress, we're just going to tune our eyes to the TV and look at the soothing sights of Roma.
It's working real well so far.
I like it.
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Just make me be able to watch your documentaries. That's all I'm saying.
This might just be an Andrew vent sesh.
Nah, Sid's going to vent too.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm
fair.
here for it.
I'm going to say from the outset, we here at We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, we don't put too much stock in the Oscars or any award for that matter. Luckily, the Oscars are not at like the level of the Grammys, but we don't put too much stock in them. The problem is that this is the largest movie award show in the world, and they're slipping into some really troubling habits, right? After the last few years have been surprisingly very good at rewarding brave and very groundbreaking cinema, with something like Moonlight winning Best Picture, I think is just and The Shape of Water, for that matter.
Yeah.
Just these really intensely unique, creative films have been being rewarded, and then we see this trash this year, which we'll get into. So we're talking about the Oscars the whole time, but that's because we love movies. We love to see good movies get rewarded, and this is the largest stage that they can be rewarded on. And if we allow the Oscars to become the Grammys, essentially, which if you missed it, the Grammys are complete and total trash. Like not even worth paying any attention to levels of trash. But that's why we're talking about this, is because it's important to us that we see good film rewarded and talked about. And at least for me, and I'm sure that Sid feels the same way, there's been a number of movies that I would never have seen were they not nominated for Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, movies that have changed the way that I view cinema and the way that I view the world, if you want to get existential, I suppose. So we like... I if anybody else has a dissenting opinion, I guess, we like the Oscars in theory. We like the idea of an award show rewarding things with great artistic merit, but this year that seems to be not happening.
Nope.
We all, before we sat down to do this, we have a big ballot of all the nominees in the categories that we were able to see a significant amount of the films. Really, the ones that we neglected were the ones that were categories that we didn't see a lot of them. So,
yeah.
And also I forgot to put feature-length animated film on there. So,
We already know what it
1,
is.
2, 3.
Spider-Man.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So, Spider-Man's great.
It's fantastic.
Amazing.
So good.
Into the Spider-Verse, that is. I don't know if there was another Spider-Man movie this year.
We were talking specifically about Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. That's what we're talking about.
It is referenced in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's so good.
Was there another Spider-Man movie this year?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So we're gonna start with that. Okay, let's start right at the bottom with one of the least angering categories that we have on this list. And again, the ones that we've eliminated are like documentary, long and short, live action short, animated short, all that stuff. So we're not going to be talking about that. If you're a really big live action short person, you're not going to be happy with this podcast.
Sorry.
We're going to start with visual effects. How this is going to run is we all have our picks for what we would like to see win out of the available nominees, what we think will win, and then we were allowed to write in if we thought that that was better than any of the nominees, right? So that's how this is going to go. So, Sid, why don't you kick us off with visual effects? What are your thoughts there?
So my choice for visual effects was Avengers: Infinity War.
Or should we maybe go through the nominees for those who don't
Yes.
have the...
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to tell you what to do, but for those who don't
No.
have the list in front of them, let's just run quick through the nominees.
Okay, so we have Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo. So I picked Avengers because, I don't know, just like the sheer magnitude of how much they had to do in this movie and how well it pays off is so good in my eyes. Like, I don't know, just everything looks so fantastic. Nothing really in it, I feel, looks trashy or just kind of phoned in. And yeah, it was between Avengers and First Man for me, and I just felt like Avengers was a bigger feat.
I agree. I actually did the exact same thing.
And this is probably maybe the only category that we all... I will probably agree on several categories.
Yeah.
But I also agree. Again, it's a real bummer, and I'll talk about this several times. I think it's a real bummer that Black Panther's getting all the hype out of the Marvel movies this year, because Infinity War is, and we talked about this on our favorite movies of 2018 podcast. Infinity War really is something incredible, and they did something really special with it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is impressive.
Yeah. And a shout out to Annihilation, I think.
Always.
Yes.
Love you, baby.
The screaming bear, her turning into flowers, the whole just entire ending sequence.
Oh, yeah.
So good. So good. And that's how that's going to work. Costume design. Becca, what do you have for us?
For the nominees, we have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, The Black Panther, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Mary Queen of Scots. And I have actually only seen Black Panther and The Favorite, but I chose The Favorite because it's really good and the costumes are amazing, and I want it to win, mostly.
I have also chosen The Favorite as my pick for what I would like to see win out of this category. And it actually is my favorite for the year, I think, as far as costume design goes.
So I actually picked Black Panther for this one.
Defend your choice.
I will. Okay, so I
Don't
feel...
you know we're only supposed to hate Black Panther on this podcast?
I don't think it's that bad of a movie, okay?
It's pretty
Okay.
good.
So I feel like period pieces get a lot of love from costume and production and makeup, which is totally well deserved. But I feel like Black Panther is so different than what you usually see. I saw something on the internet, and it was just explaining the costume design and how like each different tribe in the movie represents a real tribe like in Africa, and how they took inspiration from that and incorporated it into the costumes. And I don't know, I just think I feel like it's a more cohesive for a large culture, and it's more representative, and I don't know, I just feel like it's a big thing for them to do.
Okay.
And it was a lot of research for them.
That's fair. With that said, I do think Black Panther is going to win.
I hope so.
The Favorite is my favorite. But
That one was very close.
I do
very
think
close.
that Black Panther is going to win. And that's going to be a theme here. There's a lot of these categories that I think Black Panther is going to win.
Yeah.
Because the mouse rules all.
What?
Mickey Mouse. Disney.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to be talking a lot about the evil mouse today. The evils of Disney. Moving on here. I think another one that's not too controversial. Makeup and hair. Literally only 3 nominees. Border, which I don't know what that is.
I hear, so I don't know too much. It's a foreign film, and it's like these, I don't know, but I have seen pictures, and it looks like really good makeup, and I've heard a lot of good things about the makeup and costuming for it, or the makeup and hair, not
All right.
costume.
So there's Border, Mary Queen of Scots, which I really do not think that it's possible for me to care less about this film.
Yeah, I fell asleep every single time I saw that trailer.
Like, just what an uninteresting looking film. I'm sorry. Like, if you're really into that history, whatever, but like, both Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie deserve better.
Yeah.
Than to do
Especially post Oscars.
that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like watching it, I was like, guys, because it was just so obvious that literally every person involved in that film was like, we're winning Oscars for this, boys.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
no,
this is
no,
it.
thank you. And Vice, which is my pick and what I think is going to win.
That's my
because
pick.
the makeup and hairstyling in that film is astounding.
Yeah,
It is pretty good.
it really is.
So no complaints there.
No.
Original song. Mine was short. I'm gonna take this one. Original song. Kendrick Lamar with All the Stars from Black Panther. I'll Fight from RGB. I didn't know there was a song in that. The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns. Who cares? Shallow from A Star Is Born. And When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I both, out of this crop, would like Shallow to win and think that it will.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know any of the other songs, but
I think the only other one that has a shot is the Black Panther one.
oh yeah.
And that's mostly just because it's Kendrick Lamar.
It is a good song.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, Shallow has just been such a freaking force.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to pick anything else.
Yeah. I picked Shallow, but I personally think that Always Remember Us This Way is better.
From
Stars Born.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was like her solo one on the stage. I don't know. I just think. I don't know.
I
Shallow's
don't
good.
know what
It's
it's
a good
called
one.
because I haven't listened to that soundtrack as much as some other people. But the one, his one song that he plays a few times that like
Oh.
maybe it's time to let the old things die. Whatever that song is called. I thought that was better than Shallow
Yeah.
personally.
I just think Shallow is like the more exciting because it's like their duo, you know?
Yeah. No, and it's the big push. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's been just a force,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I actually did have a write-in on this one as well, and that is Unmade.
Oh my
by-
gosh, who could have predicted
Right?
this?
Unmade by Tom York
I almost
from
put that one
the
too.
Suspiria soundtrack.
I voted for that one in Best Original Song on Letterboxd Oscars this year.
Because not only is it a phenomenal song, but I think that a lot of times with this original song category, we kind of forget that there are movies behind them. And so it really does just become a popularity contest of which song got played the most. So like the one from Coco won last year, right?
Yeah,
Or was that 2 years ago? I don't care.
last year.
Coco's fine. I like Coco. No hate for Coco.
Sufjan should have won.
But yeah, Sufjan should have won. But he should have won for what's it called?
Visions of Gideon.
Visions of Gideon.
He should have
Yeah.
won for everything.
Yes.
Well,
he should have gotten
it was
everything.
just yeah. I understand why they nominated the one that they did, but
Yeah.
Visions of Gideon was a better song.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, and this ties into what I'm going to say here about Unmade, and that's that there are movies behind these songs, right? Sufjan didn't just, or maybe he did, I don't know. I doubt that he just sat down and wrote that. Like he was probably commissioned by Luca to write that song.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing. I didn't even put that connection until right now. That I think that's the thing that Luca does is he like goes out and commissions artists, because that song Visions of Gideon, like I said, even when we were walking out of it, I was probably too harsh on Call Me by Your Name the first time that we saw it. I think that my opinion of it has definitely become more positive over time, but that ending scene of him sitting in front of the fire with that song playing is so many leaps and bounds and levels ahead of anything else in that film, and maybe anything else that I saw last year. Like if that specific sequence is so beyond incredible, and it's made by that song. And so I look at something like Unmade, which for those of you who have seen Suspiria but don't maybe know the soundtrack, Unmade is the song that plays, spoiler, I don't know, give me 2 minutes. It's the song that plays at the very end during the crazy bloody climax after the whole screen goes red. This really beautiful, kind of fragile sounding Tom York song comes on, and it makes the sequence. It totally changes the tone of the entire thing. They could have had, slasher strings and crazy stuff going on, but that song being put in that spot in that movie honestly made me reconsider what I thought the movie was about. So going into it my second time, I was watching for different things because I was like, she's popping heads, like she's just murdering people. This should be, you know, a super scary, negative horror thing, but it's got this fragile song behind it. And it really, I guess, helped me understand what the film is about, which is really the power struggle going on. And there's it, and then the whole subplot about the German revolutionaries and all of that starts to make a lot more sense when you realize what the song is actually about, which is this power struggle between, you know, the two main witches. And then Mother Superiorum comes in and just says, "You're all wrong, and I'm in charge now." And it's almost a good thing, even though they're witches. And so that song made what might be my favorite sequence of the year. So that's why I pick it.
It's a great song.
I love it so much. I frequently listen to the Suspiria soundtrack.
It's good. I really like it.
Becca gets sick of it.
No, actually, I really do like it. Like, of all things Suspiria, that's my favorite part.
Not the choreography.
I mean, I do like the choreography, but it's hard to like the choreography because it's mixed in with just bloody death scenes.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I would say the music is the best part.
All right. So that's my first rant about Suspiria. There will be more, I'm sure.
Which next we're talking about original score. So
you know, I think I said
what
I need to say.
Yeah. And I would agree. I mean, I didn't put it as my write-in. I put Annihilation.
Why don't you kick us off on this next category, Becca?
Okay.
Unless you guys had more to say about original song.
No.
There's no huge complaints.
Shallow's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's a good
It's a
choice.
worthy
All right,
one.
original score, Becca. Let's go.
Original score: Black Klansman, Black Panther, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. And I've only seen Black Klansman and Black Panther, so I, out of those options, would choose Black Panther and think it will win. But I think there are many, many other movies that have better scores than any of these.
Did we all have a write-in on this category?
Yeah.
I loved Annihilation. That's the soundtrack that I've listened to the most this year. Also, I would say Suspiria is really good.
Yeah, my write-in is Suspiria. So I picked, for my pick, Isle of Dogs. Now, you might find it odd for me to pick a movie that I haven't seen, but I like Wes Anderson. I like Alexander Desplat. And I don't want anything else to win. So. But I think that Black Panther will likely win.
Yeah, I said If Beale Street Could Talk. I have no idea what any of these soundtracks are.
That was kind of my point, is like, I have seen Black Klansman and Black Panther.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what the vibe of those soundtracks
Yeah,
are.
I mean, it may be because I've only seen all of these movies once, maybe twice, and I just wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
But my write-in was Suspiria. I just felt like it was more impactful.
I guess my thing is, like, I saw those movies, and I didn't come out of them being wowed by the soundtrack. There were other movies that I saw once that I came out being like, that's a good soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Annihilation, Suspiria, Death of Stalin, First Man. Like, these are all movies that I saw once that I walked out of being like, these are incredible soundtracks. In case you didn't know, in Roma, there's an extended full frontal nudity scene of a young man.
And that's where we are now.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and quickly skip past that.
Every time my mom starts talking about this movie, she's like, "Oh, I need to see it." And I'm like, "Yeah, you really should." It's a little slow though, so I don't know. Also, there's a 5-minute long scene with a penis, so
Yeah. But yeah, like, there were several movies that I was very impressed by the soundtrack after seeing them once.
Yeah.
And none of them are listed here.
It's a real bummer. Like, I wish I could take all these off. I mean, I guess I haven't seen 3 of them, but I could make a better list.
I can tell you that I don't
Yeah.
give a crap about Mary Poppins Returns.
No, absolutely not.
All right. That's original score. No big complaints there. I mean, except for that everything sucks.
Yeah, but I'm madder about other things.
I would give it to Suspiria, just because I've heard as well, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard that the soundtrack from You Were Never Really Here is outstanding as well.
I can't remember it. I
That's
saw it
fine.
a while ago.
It's the last score from Johan Johansson before he
Oh
died.
yeah, it is.
Bummer.
R.I.P.
All right, moving on. Sid.
All right, we are on to production design.
And for I think everything up till now has been pretty self-explanatory. For anybody who might not know what production design is,
Production design is basically the set and what they put on there. You know, there's the decorations, the background. It's, yeah, pretty much summed up, that's what it is.
all right?
So, our nominees are Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Roma, and Mary Poppins Returns. And I chose The Favorite because it's gorgeous. The very first shot is so good.
Remind me what the first shot is.
The first shot is just the queen, and they're like in her room, and she has this giant cape just like laid out behind her while they're like getting her dressed.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's just everything, like, they put in so much work into that castle, and it looks so good. But I also wrote in Hereditary, which I thought was
That's
super
an interesting choice.
good. Because it's very understated, but going along with, like, the theme of the movie, it looks like a dollhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And actually, I talk about this. We have an episode of the podcast dissecting Hereditary, so we'll try not to get too far into it. It's Becca's movie of the year.
Ha ha.
But now that you mention it, one of my favorite things about Hereditary is production design, and that's the statue that they have at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is it obviously some of the themes in Hereditary are about things that you inherit, and there's a I guess you'd call it a statue, not really a statue,
It's like a model.
Sure.
like a model
There you go.
at the bottom of the stairs in the house that they live in, which is like a house built on top of the ruins of like several other houses. So it's like houses stacked on houses stacked on houses. And I thought that was a really, really clever nod to the themes of the film hidden in the production design. So that's actually an interesting pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about Hereditary for production design at all, but now that you mention it, yes.
Oh, thank you.
I
yeah.
do think the production design in Hereditary is good. I also chose The Favorite, though, for production design because it's fantastic.
Yeah, I chose The Favorite as well. I think it's just so detailed and so well thought out. You get such an interesting feel for the castle, as far as like the secret tunnel between the rooms and like the hall outside of her room. We're there several times. The courtyard, where they do the shooting. Just everything is so well done. I did pick that. I think that Black Panther's going to win that as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I wouldn't be mad about it.
Wakanda looks great,
It does.
and like
It
her
really
lab
does.
and stuff looks really cool. I just
Yeah.
That's
my
true.
taste leans towards The
Yeah.
Favorite.
Yeah.
So whatever. As long as Mary Poppins doesn't win, because who the freak even who cares about that
cares?
movie? I want to know who cares about Mary Poppins Return.
You know who does?
Disney.
That darn mouse.
That darn mouse.
My
I'm
brother really cares about it.
I'm sure that John Krasinski cares as well because
Yeah.
his wife was the star.
Yeah,
guess
whatever. She's the star of other things too, so
That's fair.
it's fine.
Wasn't he? She was fine in A Quiet Place as well this year.
Yep.
So, whatever.
Another
Um,
one that I think is better than some of the movies that have been nominated. Yep, A Quiet Place.
All right. So maybe I'll take the next two just so that we can talk a little bit about what they mean, because a lot of people are confused as to why there is two what do you call it? Categories for sound, right? So we have sound editing and sound mixing, and if I'm not mistaken, the nominees are literally exactly the same, as they usually are. Point being, sound editing, as far as I understand it, if there's some crazy Academy buff out there who wants to prove me wrong, whatever. Sound editing is the sounds that are made, right? The laser sounds in Star Wars, the dinosaur sounds in Jurassic Park are a great example of incredible sound editing. There's a lot of different examples. And then sound mixing is basically how loud each of the sounds are in relation to each other, right? So I'm actually I'm gonna do it backwards, but I do want to start with sound editing. Your nominees are Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. My pick for this is First Man, because I thought specifically the sequences where they're in the rockets are just astounding. I think Black Panther's going to win, though.
I also chose First Man, and I think it's because I could actually tell what sound editing and sound mixing was while watching it. Like, I still have a hard time grasping what it is, but that was a movie that afterwards I was like, oh yeah, the sound was really cool. And that was like the best, one of the best parts about that movie to me was the sound. And so that helped me understand what sound editing and mixing is. Specifically, I would say mixing, because you can hear like the breathing is really loud, and that would be the sound mixing, right?
Yeah, as well. Like I said, for me, what really puts it over the top are the launch sequences. I have never been more terrified of going to space than during those sequences, because you're like, I mean, it's like David Bowie said, right? Like, they're in a tin can. Like,
Yeah.
like, what the F were these people thinking? You're literally just strapping yourself to a rocket in, like, you got what, like an inch, if you're lucky, between you and the freaking vacuum of space? I've never considered that until this movie. Just how gosh darn insane these people were.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my pick for both sound editing and sound mixing is First Man. But I think that Black Panther's going to win. There's a whole theory behind this, by the way. We're going to get into why I think
Sweet.
Black Panther's going to win all of these.
Sweet.
I did have a write-in, though, for sound editing for Suspiria.
So did I.
Okay, so
Yep.
why don't you tell us what you think about these categories?
I mean, I don't know too much about them. This is just, it's hard to kind of, I don't know, I guess teach yourself about it, and I'm not a film student. So, I mean, I kind of just picked First Man because it's really the only one I could really remember it making a huge impact, except for Suspiria. Like, we've talked about it before, that just like, while they're dancing, you can just hear their breathing really loud, and like you can just hear, like, I don't know, every little thing you can hear, and it's in detail, and it's just, it enhances the movie.
I think back to, as well, the scene that I guess hits me the most with sound editing specifically. I put Suspiria for sound editing, but I still stuck with First Man for sound mixing,
Yeah.
right? Just because I think the sound design of Suspiria is so impressive. I think back to, again, spoilers, whatever, Olga's death scene, where you're hearing her snap.
Oh, it's so good.
And then when they come and get her and they put the hooks into her, it just this, oh my,
I love it.
oh my gosh, freaking
Gross.
felt that. And then again, the scenes with the, the dancing and all the breathing and all of that. So that's sound editing and sound mixing. And now we come to the least important category in all of the Oscars. Well, one of two that, just straight up don't matter in filmmaking. Really unimportant, no impact on the final product, doesn't matter. We wouldn't want to give them any credit. So we're going to go ahead and just air this award during the commercials.
Those douchebags.
So we're going to get into our first big controversy here, right? For those of you who don't know, the Academy has announced this year that 4 awards will be aired during a commercial break. So not aired in that. They will be awarded during a commercial break if you're watching the broadcast live on ABC. These 4 categories are, let's see. What is it? Crap, I just lost what they are. So, best editing, best cinematography. Hang on. Sid, can you help me out here? What are the other 2?
I don't
Well,
know. I actually
Says
haven't heard
makeup
this.
and hairstyle on that.
I'm so...
Hang on. We'll get to it. This is my theory. This ties into my whole theory, right? Pause for technical difficulties. I had to Google this, and I shouldn't have had to. So, if you are watching the broadcast live on ABC, you will not see the following categories being awarded. Just give me a list. Heavens, you don't need to... let's see. Cinematography, editing, live action short, and makeup and hairstyling. So I actually forgot that makeup and hairstyling was included because I was so mad about cinematography and editing.
That is so stupid.
Because clearly these categories do not matter. I'd like to share with you a tweet from the director of probably the best film this year, and that is Alfonso Cuarón, director of Roma. He said, "In the history of cinema," in all big caps, "masterpieces have existed without sound, without color, without a story, without actors, and without music. No one single film has ever existed without cinematography and without editing."
Amen.
What a boss tweet.
Oh my gosh.
So, really, it's just distressing that these are the two categories that they pick: cinematography and editing.
Of all categories.
Cinematography is probably the single most popular category outside of Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actors.
Yeah.
Like the 4 acting categories, right?
That's insane.
People actually know what cinematography is. I'd say it's equally as popular, if not more so, than the screenplay awards, right?
Like sound editing and mixing, what
Yeah.
nobody
So
actually
sound
knows.
editing and mixing will be aired during the live broadcast.
Like, okay, all of the categories are important, but there are some that are way more important.
Well, it's like he said. It's like he says here, right? Like, masterpieces have existed without sound, without color, without a story, without actors, and without music. No one single film has ever existed without cinematography and without editing.
Critical.
It's literally what differentiates film from theater, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Because theater, you have a production, you have production design, you have actors, you have a director, you have music. Literally, cinematography, editing, and I would argue visual effects are what distinguish film as an art form and are the most, I guess, what's the word? I'm losing words today. The most,
Because you're so frustrated.
I know, it's so infuriating that these are the categories and they're all technically craft, right? So you have your important Oscars, which are like your best picture, your best director, your best actors and actresses, screenplay. And then you have your craft awards, which are all of the ones that we've discussed up to this point, including sound editing and cinematography. And those are the awards that go into the making of a film, hence craft. And they've decided that cinematography and editing don't need to be awarded on air. Now, I have heard that they'll be recorded and an edited, basically you'll see their acceptance speech for the winner. But again, part of why we love the idea of the Oscars is to see films that we appreciate and we love get recognized. And before each award is awarded, there's a little sizzle reel of the nominees, right? And the cinematography sizzle reel is always incredible.
Yeah.
And these are the ones that I've seen. I haven't seen everything, to be fair, because freaking foreign films are impossible to watch. They're all amazing, and I would love to see a sizzle reel of these and to see these cinematographers be recognized. My favorite single moment of the Oscars last year was seeing, I just lost his name.
Oh, Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins win for Blade Runner. And not just because it was Blade Runner, but because this dude has like 25 Oscar nominations. That's an exaggeration, but
That's pretty close, actually.
so many of them are deserving. And watching him win and get up there and be so excited, and like that was such a liberating moment for so many people. Like, and now we're gonna miss that. I mean, we'll get the acceptance speech of, Alfonso Cuarón, but it's just infuriating. I can't describe how mad it makes me that those are the categories that they're deciding to air during commercial breaks.
I am
So ridiculous.
violently angry.
Who's ready for the tinfoil hats to come out?
I already have it on. Let's do it.
Do you have your tinfoil hat on, Becca?
I'm ready.
This is I am not the originator of this theory. I'm going to go ahead and give credit here where credit is due. User Eldusto84 on Reddit posted a thread to the R Movies subreddit outlining what I think is the most likely scenario here and why Black Panther is my pick for what I think will win for all of the categories that we've discussed so far. And that is the fact that there are 10 craft awards. Disney is nominated for 7 of them. The 3 that Disney is not nominated for are the 3 that are not going to happen during the live broadcast. Disney owns ABC, which is the channel that the awards are broadcast on. I think that Disney is manipulating the Oscars broadcast to give more attention to their films, thus compromising the integrity of the Academy.
So frustrating.
Why? Why? I'm so mad.
Money.
They have enough. I gave them so much money to go to Disneyland.
You don't get to see cinematography or editing or costume or live action short. It's just so surgical because they're nominated for best animated film. They're nominated for animated short. They are not nominated for editing, cinematography, costume design, or live action short.
Oh my gosh.
And any other categories, like they're not nominated in like best actor, actress, or director, but like they could never get away with not airing those, right? They literally picked 4 awards. You know what? Maybe don't have people go across the street to a freaking screening of A Wrinkle in Time and hand out, have celebrities throw candy at people. Maybe cut that and do these 4 awards.
They just don't listen to us.
Heaven forbid that you miss any of Disney's films winning an award.
Oh my gosh.
And my thinking here is this, right? Let's keep the tinfoil hats on, and you guys can jump in at any time because I'll rant forever about this. The Oscars were going to introduce the best popular film category, right?
I kind of have a theory on that.
What's your theory?
My theory is I listened to a YouTuber, Your Movies Suck. He was just giving an overview of all the nominations and what he thought on them.
Secondary shout out to Your Movie Suck because he's great.
He's really great. I love him. Even though he has a really annoying voice.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah. But he was just talking about that this year's it's garbage.
It's really bad.
Really not good.
I'll throw a secondary shout out to his he reviews the Best Picture nominations and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but so at the end he just talks about that last year was the lowest ratings they've ever had in 44 years of the Oscars, and also last year was the lowest grossing of all the movies nominated for Best Picture. And so he basically just said that they're nominating all this garbage popular movies because that's what's going to get you out to the theaters to watch them and give them more money. And
more people will watch the Oscars if they've actually heard of the nominees.
And they've actually seen them. And shoot, what was I going to say? Oh, so the popular film, I feel like this is their vengeance against us getting mad at them for announcing the popular film category.
Absolutely agree.
Because they're just
agree.
like, oh, you didn't like that? Okay,
and
well,
not them. Disney.
I love Disney so much, but they are ruining my life right now. Anyway, that's mine and Your Movies Suck theory.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that Disney was like, well, because who do you think came up with that idea? Like, I'm sure that there was some marketing guy who was like, we need this category at the Oscars. And Disney heard it and they were like, we are in. Like, Black Panther's never going to get nominated, but now we have Best Popular Film?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's going to get nominated and it's going to win. Right? And they're like, no, we're not doing that category. And again, we all know that you can buy yourself an Oscar nomination, right? But the problem is just the sheer amount of trash movies, or not even trash, just okay movies.
Yeah.
The fact that they are putting Black Panther on the same pedestal as Roma is just insulting.
Yeah.
Right? And I get, you have to have some nominees. Maybe have 7. Maybe have 6. I don't care. Black Klansman does not stack up. Bohemian Rhapsody does not stack up.
No.
Vice does not stack up.
Do you hear that?
That's Sid
Do you
crossing
hear
out
that?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I hate it so much.
Oh, we'll have a talk about Bohemian Rhapsody. I finally watched it.
I'm ready.
We'll get to it. But yeah, it's just disgusting. Like, I hate Disney so much. And I wish that they didn't own everything that I love. Mostly Marvel, actually. I don't really care about Disney movies as such. I like Marvel. I wish they didn't own it. I like Star Wars. I wish they didn't own it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, okay, Black Panther's getting nominated for everything. Now, I think this is my theory, and this is why I picked Black Panther as what I think will win all of those categories, because I think that the Academy still hopefully has some integrity left in it.
Hopefully.
I do not think that Black Panther is going to win Best Picture. I do not think that it's going to win any major award. But I think that Disney has them scared into giving it something. So I think they're going to give it all the craft awards.
That's frustrating.
Which sucks for all of the people who worked so hard on a lot of the fantastic films that we've talked about. Like, the only place that First Man gets any recognition is in the craft stuff.
Yeah.
For example. You know what I mean? I mean, Suspiria gets totally snubbed. And so does Hereditary and Annihilation.
Well, and like the craft categories, like even if I don't understand exactly what they are, like those are so important for making a movie good.
Yeah.
And they deserve to go to good movies.
But even someone who's not really into movies can see the difference between like good editing, well maybe not editing, but like good production design versus a crappy one, or good cinematography versus crappy. It's just they're putting such stupid things in there.
I think back to, you read about the original Academy Awards, right? In like 27 or whatever it was. And it was literally like 50 people, and they got together in a restaurant and shook hands and said, "You did a great job. I liked your film." And like, we've just gotten so far away from that sentiment of like, we are, you know, a workforce of filmmakers, whatever our roles may be. And a lot of people complain that the Oscars is just rich people patting other rich people on the back. I'm fine with that. I wish that it was just that.
Yeah.
Right? Because entertainers are an essential part of our society, right? We need entertainers. And if entertainment gets you rich, why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? You can't blame them for it. Production companies are hellspawn as far as screwing people over. But it's hard to find a true artist, actor, director, filmmaker who has made their wealth by, you know, just destroying lives the way that like Apple has. You know what I mean? So like, I don't hate them for being rich, like I do some people. But I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem with attractive rich people just patting each other on the back saying great job, as long as what they are patting each other on the back for actually was a great job.
Yeah. If they're worthy of that pat on the back, then it's fine.
Right? Because these are people who, whether we want to like it or not, these are people who understand film, who know what is good film. And I'm telling you right now, drag Stanley Kubrick out of the grave, show him Black Panther and say this was nominated for Best Picture, he'd shoot himself in the face. You know what I mean? Bring, you know, dig Tarkovsky up. Show him Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is nominated for several Oscars. I mean, Tarkovsky probably wouldn't care about Oscars in the first place, but I'm just thinking of like the most impressive filmmakers ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, I can imagine Spielberg even drank himself into a deep stupor when he saw that, you know, Black Klansman was nominated.
Well, Steven Spielberg was kind of against Roma getting nominated.
What?
Because it's a Netflix movie.
Oh, F off, Steven Spielberg. I take back my compliments. Jurassic Park is great. Jaws is great. You suck. Everything else is terrible. I'm just kidding. Steven Spielberg has made some of the greatest films of all time.
It's true.
But yeah, I wish that we could get back to that, of actually congratulating each other for a job well done. And like I said at the beginning, what sucks so much about this is that it seemed like that was the direction that we were going the last couple of years.
Last few years have been great.
Outstanding.
So good.
Mad Max got nominated for Best Picture.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
You know what I mean? Like, why wasn't Mission Impossible Fallout nominated for crying out loud if that's what we're going to be doing here?
True. Way better than
But
these.
you know what I mean? Like, the last couple of years have been so reassuring as far as the direction the Academy was going.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't very often actively hope for things to fail. I hope that the ratings this year are even lower than they were last year.
Even though I'm definitely watching.
Yeah, I probably will. But, oh man. Like, the Academy that put together these nominations is not the Academy that gave Shape of Water Best Picture.
Yeah.
Something's changed, and I think it is just money.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because money ruins art. Invariably. Best editing. Your nominees are BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, The Favorite, and Vice. I have not seen Green Book. I have no desire to see Green Book. I think it looks bad.
It's not great. I will talk about that later.
Okay. My pick for best editing out of these examples is The Favorite.
Same here.
Me too.
I think that BlacKkKlansman will win.
I could see that. It wasn't my favorite, but I could see that it's good.
Mostly because I think they have to give it something. It's nominated for so many. I think they've got to give it something.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
could see that.
My pick for editing is Suspiria.
Same here.
I didn't actually write down a pick, but Suspiria
That's fine.
is good editing.
I think just Olga's death scene by itself
Oh my gosh.
should get that movie an award for editing. Not to mention, the actual performance of Volk.
Oh, yeah.
Just incredible all around. That's my pick for editing.
See, as much as I don't like that movie, there really are a lot of great things about it.
Kind of like Hereditary. Becca just doesn't like
Kind
horror.
of exactly
Yeah.
like Hereditary.
Because you feel the same way
That's
about The
fine.
Witch.
Yeah. Well, it's not horror. It's witches.
Becca doesn't like witches.
I
Got
don't
it.
like witches.
Got
Makes
it.
sense. All right.
Got it. All right, Sid.
All
Take
right.
us home.
Adapted screenplay. We have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, BlacKkKlansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. I said If Beale Street Could Talk, because I've seen all of these, and that one is just, it's fantastic. Out of all 5 of these, I'd say it's just great.
I have only seen BlacKkKlansman and A Star Is Born.
Same.
So I picked A Star Is Born as what I want to win and what I think will win.
I think A Star Is Born will win, but I want Beale Street Could Talk to win.
I promise this is the last time I'm going to do this. I wrote in Suspiria.
Of course you did.
That actually is the last time I'm going to do this. Every other category, I am perfectly fine with what's going on here.
I'm fairly fine with it.
But Suspiria, again, I think that it's a screenplay that doesn't, and some people like it for this, some people don't. It doesn't put its message, or it doesn't shove its message down your throat. There's just a lot of things going on, and it's up to you to kind of put the pieces together. So like I said, the first time I saw it, I didn't really know what was going on. The second time I saw it, it stuck with me, again, what it's about, the whole power dynamic and all of that. And I think that is so interesting, and it's so well delivered, and there's several exchanges between Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton that I think are so well written. I think specifically to when they have dinner in Tilda Swinton's office, and it's oh my gosh, it's just such good writing. But again, I think that the story overall and how they decide to present it is so subtle, and I really like that about it.
Going back to the category and the actual nominees, not Suspiria.
I'm done talking about Suspiria. I promise.
We're done.
That's it. That's
it's
it.
over.
I also chose A Star Is Born for adapted screenplay as what I want to win and what I think will win. And honestly, I loved A Star Is Born. I'm really happy that it's nominated for a few things.
It's
It's nominated for quite a
tied
few.
with Roma, right?
No, The Favorite and
Or The
Roma.
Favorite and Roma
Yeah.
have the most,
Okay.
and then A Star Is Born, right?
Okay.
I think so.
I'm totally fine with it being nominated and winning plenty of awards. Like, I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
So
Jumping in here, it's so weird. Going back to what we were talking about, I'm sorry, about criticizing the Academy. It's so strange to see such mediocre stuff being given nominations when the two movies that have the most nominations still are Roma and The Favorite,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
are, without a doubt, the two best movies
Yeah.
yeah.
out of this pack.
Definitely.
So maybe there is some hope. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
being too cynical and I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We'll have to see what actually wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Original screenplay. Becca, what do you got?
Okay, the nominees are The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice.
Has anybody seen First Reformed?
I did.
I've been meaning to watch it. I heard it's great.
It's pretty good. I should probably watch it again. It's very slow. Also, I didn't really know what was going on, but it's really good.
A lot of people were pissed that Ethan Hawke didn't get nominated.
Spoiler alert, he's my write-in.
All right. What was your pick, Becca?
I chose Roma because I was so impressed with that movie. Like, it really surprised me. I was impressed with how much I loved it, even though it's in black and white and Spanish. And I don't know. I just want it to win every single category that it is nominated for.
That's totally fair.
I agree.
What do you got, Sid?
So I originally put The Favorite. I guess I forgot that Roma was on there, but I'm going with Roma too. Especially once you like read into it and you see that much of it is based on his own life, and his own maid while he was young. It enhances it. But my write-in for that one was Hereditary.
Ooh. I actually stuck with The Favorite as my choice. Mostly because I think the dialogue in that film is so gosh darn outstanding.
It's really good.
I think that Green Book will win.
I swear.
Again, for the same reason that I put Black Klansman for editing. I think they have to give it something.
No.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm just saying don't give it anything.
I'm just saying this is also
Except for Mahershala Ali.
yeah. We might talk about this later on, but this is a very socially charged year as well, as far as what's been nominated, right?
Yeah.
And it's a year where if you criticize Black Panther, Black Klansman, or Green Book,
It makes you racist.
it makes you a racist.
If you criticize Bohemian Rhapsody, it makes you homophobic and you hate Queen.
Exactly. But I haven't seen Green Book, but specifically Black Panther and Black Klansman, I have very specific beefs with that do not have anything to do with the message they are trying to convey or the racial politics involved there. I think that they have fundamental issues as films.
See, I do have beef with Green Book about that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm racist. I'm not a racist.
Spoiler, these are all nominated for Best Picture, so we'll get into them in depth there. I did write in, though. I wrote in for screenplay. I wrote in The Death of Stalin.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good
I gotta
choice.
agree.
Because this movie is maybe the most criminally overlooked movie of the year. And I'm saying that over Suspiria, because Suspiria at least occasionally gets talked about. Nobody ever talks about Death of Stalin, and it
Never.
is so freaking good.
It's so good.
It really is.
On every front. So that's my write-in for Best Original Screenplay. I think it's original. I don't know. I always have a hard time knowing if something is original or adapted. Whatever.
I think it's original.
Moving on to the other least important category in all of Oscar history, Best Cinematography. Your nominees are Cold War, Lucas Zoll, The Favorite, which was shot by Robbie Ryan, Never Look Away, shot by Caleb Deschanel, Roma, shot by Alfonso Cuarón, and A Star Is Born, shot by Matthew Libatique. I'm sure I butchered at least two of those names. My pick, and what I think is going to win, is Roma.
Me too.
Same here.
I really do think that Roma is going to sweep a lot of these categories.
I hope so.
That's pretty much my pick for the rest of the categories. Spoilers, I guess.
Really?
But
All right.
well, not quite, but most of them.
Okay. And I don't even have a right in here. The
I don't know
cinematography in that
either.
movie is astounding.
It's so good. Just
We're still watching Roma, by the
oh
way.
my gosh.
And very much enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great. You can put it on mute and just look at it. That's how good the cinematography is. It's literally, we have had this movie on mute now for an hour. And
it's amazing.
it's so incredible to look at. Go watch Roma. It's on Netflix. Oh, sorry. I want to rewind a little bit back to sound editing and sound design. We watched Roma on Netflix. That's the only time that I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you see Roma in the theater, the sound editing and mixing is astounding.
Yeah. Which is why I'm mad that it didn't show anywhere.
Yeah, it showed for like a week close to us, and we couldn't make it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But apparently, like I said, the sound editing and mixing is just crazy if you watch it on a good sound system, which we didn't.
Yeah. That's why I was tempted to put it for sound editing and mixing, but also I haven't really experienced it, so I didn't feel like I could.
Exactly. One thing I do want to mention, and I really, really, really like this. 3 of the 5 nominees for cinematography are foreign language films.
Yeah, I think that's
I
awesome.
think it's
Really cool.
I would love to see more foreign language films getting actual recognition.
Yeah. And 2 of them are in black and white.
That's true.
Just so you know, Roma is starting to play at Lehigh this weekend.
We should go. Do you want to go?
Okay.
Cold War is probably the movie that I want to see more than any right now.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get up there, though, to see it. So, for those of you who don't know, Cold War, Never Look Away, and Roma are all foreign language films. Cold War from Poland, Never Look Away from Germany, and Roma from Mexico. And the favorite might as well be a foreign film, because Yorgos is Greek.
Yeah.
So, can I just say, I love Yorgos Lanthimos getting his due at this point. What an incredible filmmaker. That dude's just nuts.
He's got some weird movies, but they're good.
But he has such a unique style.
Yeah.
Killing of a Sacred Deer is a freaking trip. What a great movie. And I loved his ability to take his quirky style and put it into this just over-the-top period piece. It's great. But yeah, I mean, Roma is another level of cinematography. The patience and the confidence which with this movie is filmed is seriously just astounding. The camera just sits still and the stuff just happens. But it sounds easy to just park a camera, but it's the framing and the blocking and the way that the way that it's lit and the way that the scenes are planned.
And there are so many great tracking shots in it too.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's very just like kind of voyeuristic.
Yeah.
And he did it himself.
He did everything.
What a
It's
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful man. I love him.
He really took it to another, Cuarón is great, but he really took it to another level this year.
Yeah.
Sid, what do we got?
Best director. We have Spike Lee for Black Klansman. Oh gosh. You did this on
in
purpose.
Polish W's or V's.
Pavel Pawlikowski. For
Pawlikowski? I don't know. I don't speak Polish.
For Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Adam McKay for Vice. I, of course, said Alfonso Cuarón. Am I even saying that right?
Yeah, here goes.
Cuarón. And
Cuarón.
I actually wrote in Bo Burnham for 8th grade.
Really?
I think it's just, for his first movie, it's incredible.
I could see that for screenplay. I don't know if I see it for director.
I don't know. I just really wanted to put him in there.
That's fair.
So, yeah, that was my pick for it.
I also chose Roma.
I
Like
chose
I said.
Roma as what I want to win and what I think will win. Again, go back and listen to our Movies of 2018 episode. We gush about Roma for a while. It's just it's such an achievement and such a personal statement by Alfonso Cuarón about the women in his life. And this is, again, so I'll just quickly mention, again, you want to talk about a socially charged year, right? Roma is, for women, what Black Klansman is. You know what I mean? But it's just so much more subtle about it. The whole movie is about the struggles of women in a man's world, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a love letter to these strong women that he has known through his entire life and who shaped who he is. And it's just them being good people and being strong in the face of adversity and being able to overcome the road bumps that they hit. So it is a socially charged movie. It's just more subtle about it compared to something like Green Book or Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Blah. That's director. We're down to the last 5 guys here.
The big 5.
5 guys. I can use a burger. Becca, what do we have for supporting actress?
Supporting actress. We have Amy Adams from Vice, Marina de Tavira, is that right? From
Sure.
Roma, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, and then from The Favorite, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
Wait,
Vice.
Is it Vice?
It is, yeah.
Oh, who
Whatever
knew?
her last name is.
Is she Polish?
I don't know. No, she's British.
Oh,
I
who
don't
knows?
know.
That's not a British name. I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't put consonants together like that.
I couldn't decide between Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz because they were both amazing. I want one of them to win.
Yeah.
I don't care who, but I chose who I want to win as Emma Stone and who I think will win, which maybe she won't. I don't know. Rachel Weisz. I don't really know. I feel like they're all good. I haven't seen If Beale Street Could Talk, but
Neither.
I would be happy with any of them winning.
I put that I want Rachel Weisz to win.
That's who I want.
I thought, and again, it was such a toss up between her and Emma Stone, but I think overall I prefer Rachel Weisz's performance. Even having not seen it, I put that I think Regina King will win, just because there's been so much buzz around that.
Yeah. I originally put Regina King. I do still think that she will win, but I would say I love both Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz, but I think I liked Rachel Weisz more. I don't know.
Totally fair.
Yeah, it's so good. But also shout out to Marina de Tavira. Like, I know that was a shock for a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
But she, now that we're watching it again, like, it makes sense.
Oh, both of them are outstanding
Yeah.
in this movie. Also, huge shout out to Amy Adams.
Yeah.
If I'm being
yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Really the sleeper hit in Vice.
Yeah.
The performances, the main thing that Vice has going for it are the performances, because they're all incredible. Amy Adams was a total sleeper hit. We all knew Christian Bale was going to kill it. We were all stoked for Steve Carell. We were all stoked for Sam Rockwell. Amy Adams destroyed that role. She did such a good job.
Yeah. I just think, it's unfortunate that she gets nominated so much and she loses out, but just like, there are so many better movies that she could have won for that
that's true.
she hasn't.
Arrival.
Yeah.
Supporting actor. We have Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott in A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant in Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell in Vice. I chose that I would like Sam Elliott to win. I think he has a really understated performance in that movie. A lot of people talk about the scene where he backs out of Bradley Cooper's driveway as like the defining moment. I think it's everything leading up to that. He gives a really convincing performance in that movie, and I think it's great. Also, I don't know him very well. I haven't seen a lot of movies with him, so I think that sold it for me a lot as well. I think Mahershala Ali will win. Or Adam Driver. I think it's a toss-up between those two. I think it's theirs to lose.
I also chose Sam Elliott. I thought he did a really good job and very much enjoyed his performance. And I also said I thought he would win, but mostly because I want him to win. I have no idea who will win.
So I put Mahershala Ali, because as much as I didn't like Green Book, he's great in it. He's really great in almost anything he's in.
You will never need to defend picking Mahershala Ali for anything to me.
Good. Because, so this is something I'm going to go into a little bit later, but Green Book is so heavy-handed. It's so ridiculous in just like the themes and the script and the acting, but he's the only thing that's subtle and toned down, and it's fantastic.
I've also heard people say that Viggo's performance is really good as well.
He's pretty good, but he's just so over the top. It was hard
Okay.
for me to invest anything in him.
Mahershala Ali, I was completely sold on him from the second I saw him in Moonlight.
I will love almost anything he's in. Maybe not this new Alita Battle Angel.
Dude, I kind of want to see that.
I just want to see it for him, just for him in those sunglasses.
I don't think it looks that bad.
I don't want to see it.
I'm not saying it's going to be the best picture winner, but if
Yeah.
we're talking February releases, I don't think it looks that bad.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to go give it a watch.
I'm
Just-
really stoked for High Life.
Oh my gosh.
Robert Pattinson in a 3-hour sci-fi epic? Yes, please.
I'm so excited.
I'm refusing to watch a trailer for it.
I saw it once. I won't watch it again because it's amazing.
Okay.
Oh wait, and I did also write in Timothée Chalamet, because even though Beautiful Boy
That's decent.
is not good, he's still great in it.
He's the one saving grace of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he does give a great performance. Honestly, the acting categories this year, I had a really hard time with. Nobody like super stood out to me, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest with you, except for The Favorite.
Yeah. That's really it. Go girls.
Yeah, right. Leading
Let's
into
do
that, who wants to take Best Actress?
I can do it.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So we have. Why do I always pick the hard ones? Yalitza Aparicio
Sure.
for Roma. Glenn Close for The Wife. Olivia Colman for The Favorite. Lady Gaga, Star is Born. Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? So my choice is Olivia Colman. I don't think she will win. I think it's between her and Glenn Close. I would also love to see Yalitza because her role is so understated, and it's just like it's just so meek and just like cute, and you just kind of want to wrap her up. And also, I found out this is her very first role, which is incredible. And also, she wasn't even going into acting; she was going to be a school teacher, and then they cast her in
Wow.
this. Yeah. And then I wrote in Toni Collette because what? Why not?
Right?
I also wrote in Toni Collette because that is the best performance I've seen from anybody all year, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it was just amazing. I'm so bummed that she's not nominated. I mean, Hereditary was just completely forgotten about.
Yeah.
But her performance is amazing. I chose, though, with my limited options, Yalitza. Is that how you
Mhm.
say it? Because, again, Roma. And exactly what Sid said. I feel like she just gives off a really natural and believable performance and just makes the movie with everything else that makes the movie. But
I would have absolutely zero issue with her winning. My pick, though, was Olivia Colman. The reason that I say that is I do wonder how much of Yalitza's performance was performance and how much is just that's how she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen her like at like press stuff for the Oscars, and she seems more comfortable and outgoing with people.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe I'm not giving her enough credit, and that's entirely possible. I love Roma. I would have zero problem with her winning because she carries that film on her back.
Yeah.
My pick is Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
good pick.
Excuse me? What a great job.
Ugh.
I think Lady Gaga is going to win.
I would be okay with that.
I really honestly think that she's going to win. Glenn Close is getting a lot of vibe or a lot of hype. I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
Regardless, I think again, A Star Is Born is just such a force.
Yeah.
I think Lady Gaga is going to win.
I think I'd be fine with Yalitza, Olivia, or Lady Gaga.
I totally would. I also wrote in Toni Collette because what a mind-blowing performance that woman put out in that movie. Again, go girls this year because no actor in any film really blew me away except for maybe Christian Bale.
I have something to say about that. But
All right, that's fine. We'll get to
Okay.
it. But there were a lot of performances by women that I was very impressed by. I would like to see Can You Ever Forgive Me? I want to see.
It's good.
I want to see what a Oscar-nominated Melissa McCarthy performance.
She's actually really good.
Because I hate Melissa McCarthy with every fiber of my being. I have never seen anything with her in it that has not made me want to just put pencils in my eyeballs. I hate her so much.
Yeah. She's pretty good in it. I will say that like I'm really not surprised that she was nominated.
All right. I would like to see it at some point.
She's probably the one that I like. If I could switch out anyone for Toni Collette, I would switch her out.
Okay.
But I'd still say she's pretty well deserving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best actor. Christian Bale in Vice. Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born. Willem Dafoe, At Eternity's Gate. Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. And Viggo Mortensen in Green Book. I chose for my pick Bradley Cooper. I think Christian Bale is going to win. I would also not have a problem with Rami Malek winning, if I'm being totally honest.
I did opposite of you. I couldn't decide between Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper, so I said I like Christian Bale and I think Bradley Cooper will win. I would be fine with either of them winning though.
I think Christian Bale will win. I would love to see Willem Dafoe win. I would love to see
it as well.
I haven't seen At Eternity's Gate, but I just love Willem Dafoe.
He's
and
great.
He's never won anything, which is criminal. Have they not seen Spider-Man?
We just watched the other night. We just watched John Wick for the first time.
Oh, it's so good.
He's crazy in that.
Yeah.
He's so good in that.
And also, how did he not win for Grand Budapest Hotel? He threw a cat out a window for that.
Good heavens, you're right.
But then
Was he even nominated for that? His role's so small.
I don't think so. And then I wrote in Ethan Hawke for First Reformed. Yeah, he's just really, really good in that, and he just plays like a kind of a paranoid person very well. Yeah, and just kind of like the progression that he goes through is really good. But so
Tell me your beef with Christian Bale.
My thing with Christian Bale, I love Christian Bale. He's great. So I listened to a podcast that was just talking about a few of the movies that they didn't necessarily agree with that got nominated, and Vice was one of them. And Christian Bale, he's great in almost everything he does. He's great in this, but 60% of the acting is the makeup. Like, yeah, he's good with like kind of like the grimace that he does and the way he talks, but ultimately it's the makeup that's selling a lot of the performance for me.
So then are you pissed about Gary Oldman?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You wanted Timothy to win.
Oh,
though.
yeah, of course I did. I love him. And also, I just didn't really like that movie.
When everybody knows that Daniel Day-Lewis should have won.
I'd be fine with.
Gary Oldman was a career award. Let's be real.
Yeah, it really was.
Here's the thing. He did a good job. But
Yeah.
I do think you're right there about the makeup. Christian Bale really did a fantastic job, though. And
He did.
He committed himself to the role.
Yeah. So I think, like, I don't think it'd be undeserved for him to win, but I'm just like,
You don't want it to happen.
no, not necessarily, but just that, this sounds harsh, but like, I don't feel like all the credit they're giving him is where credit's due.
I don't think that he's
You know?
won a lead actor, has he?
No, he's only one
He won
supporting.
supporting for The Fighter.
Yeah, so I'd be fine
Which is
with
a
him.
great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen The Fighter, put it on your list.
It's on my list for
It's
this year.
so good.
So like, I'd be
We saw that,
fine.
right?
Yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg and Christian
That's
Bale.
right.
and Jamie
Okay,
Foxx
that's what I
and-
thought.
Yeah. So like, I'd be fine, and I'd be happy if he won, just as long as Rami Malek doesn't win. So
Hang on. We'll get into why Bohemian Rhapsody sucks, because it does.
Yeah.
Let's not mince words here.
Yeah.
What do you have against the performance? I thought it was the one good thing about the movie.
it is the one good thing, but also kind of along the same lines as Christian Bale. The teeth is doing a lot.
I 1,000,000% disagree with you.
Really?
The body language, him strutting around on
Yeah.
stage, he owns that and nails it and makes it
Yeah.
look easy.
I don't know. I just feel like the teeth are so big that at some points he can't really emote. I don't know. Okay, so I think most of it is just coming out of how much I dislike this movie.
Yeah.
That it's just seeping into everything. So, okay. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's incredible.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
For the
here's
movie.
The thing, you can be as weirdly critical as you want to of his performance. He's incredible in that movie.
All right. I'll give it to you. Alrighty.
I think again, just the Live Aid concert at the end would be Oscar worthy, and because again, I have beef with biopics in general.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think they're the most interesting kind of movie that you can make. I think they're one of the least interesting kind of movies that you can make, because invariably they get whitewashed, so to speak, and toned down in the more intense parts. And that's, again, we'll talk about why Bohemian Rhapsody sucks. But the way that he just embodied Freddie Mercury, and specifically the body language, like I say, is nothing short of astounding.
All right,
So
I'll give it to you.
if Christian Bale is heavily in rotation for possibly winning, you can't say that Christian Bale was fantastic and Rami Malek was not, because they do the exact same thing at the exact same level.
All right. Maybe it's just my bias.
That's fair.
I think
That definitely
yeah,
is.
I think that Bohemian Rhapsody is a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I feel like it doesn't live up to the hype and awards it has received.
Yeah.
Again, it's fine. We could have just seen it and forgotten about it.
Exactly.
Moving on. Last category of the day. Best Picture. Your nominees are... I'm going to try and say this without laughing. Your nominees are Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
I feel like 3 of those deserve to be there.
There are 3 good movies in this list.
Yeah.
1 pretty good movie. 2 pretty good movies and 2 bad movies.
Yeah.
These are the best movies of the year.
Only 3 of these were in my top 10 for the year.
As many times as Sid would like to cross out Bohemian Rhapsody on her list,
Yeah.
it is nominated. It does not have a chance at winning.
I hope not, but also I'm scared.
Bohemian Rhapsody is an utter trash heap of a film, minus Rami Malek's performance.
It is so bad.
And I will give you 2 words as to why that is. Those 2 words are Brian May, the guitarist of Queen, who was a creative director on this film and decided to use it as an opportunity to completely rewrite history and make himself look like Jesus of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And they blamed all of the band's troubles on Freddie, which is not how it went down. And all of the band members were giant pieces of garbage, just like Freddie was. They all lived the rock star lifestyle. This movie completely ignores what is an intensely interesting and harrowing story about what fame does to the psychology of a person, and ignores that in order to have Live Aid be this triumph of Queen, which is a great concert. They did a good job. I don't dislike Queen music. I dislike Bryan Singer, and I dislike the direction that he took this film in. This should have been an R-rated, gritty examination into, again, what fame does to people, which I think is a valuable and interesting topic to consider. But instead, Brian May decided to take it and make himself, and I forget the drummer's name, but he was instrumental in this as well. I mean, watch any scene in that movie, and Brian May is your Deus Ex Machina for fixing problems.
Yeah.
Brian May is always resolving conflicts and doing everything perfectly. He's a great guitarist. I think he has a very signature guitar style that is very interesting and worth listening to. He was not Jesus. He did not solve all of the band's problems. And I think what makes it even more disappointing is that Sacha Baron Cohen was supposed to make this movie.
Yeah. I think that would have been great.
And do it how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
But instead, they gave it to the guy who made X3.
Who's also a pedophile?
Oh, we still like Woody Allen. So.
I don't. That's for sure. Yeah, the thing with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Sorry, we're at the.
I need to
just
calm
looked over
down.
at Roma, and it's the scene with the fire and the guy singing, and it's.
I feel better now.
Okay, go on.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody. The only reason why it's getting so much hype is because there's so much love for Queen.
Yep.
And Queen is a great band. They are good. They've good music.
They are good.
I like them. I actually
You
don't.
could get a disc and a half of good material out of Queen's discography.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, so much just rides on that, and every time you hear someone talk about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, it was a good movie. I really liked the musical parts of it." That's the only parts that are really good. Everything else is just kind of like it's not the most interesting movie in the world. It's pretty boring.
Can we make a nomination for worst visual effects and just only put Bohemian Rhapsody in there because the crowd during the end sequence looks like Jello.
Yeah. I saw also, I don't think the editing is good at all.
I don't love
I
it.
was watching just like a little clip of it, and there was just like, it was like a 10-second clip, and they changed shots probably like 8 times in that 10 seconds. So,
And like frantic editing can be good,
yeah.
but not if it's distracting.
Yeah, and just like with the tone of the movie, it didn't really fit into it.
Yeah.
And also just like the dialogue. There was one scene that I was just laughing at because the dialogue was so bad.
And again, like I said, the Live Aid concert at the end, if they had just done that, like that sequence is really good.
Yeah.
And I get what they were going for. I just disagree with the direction that it took. But seriously, go rewatch that, people. The crowd during that sequence is atrocious. The visual effects in that are so bad. Like, unforgivably bad. They do not look like people. How, like... Oh, my gosh. Blah.
Blah.
I don't think I have quite as harsh of a reaction as you guys. I mean, I think it's upsetting that it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it deserves that. I don't think most of the nominees deserve to be there, but I'm okay with it as a movie. Like, I think it's fine, but that's all. Just fine.
See, I have a problem where if I see a movie and I think it's fine, and then I just want to forget about it forever, that's fine. But people just don't shut up about it, so it makes me hate it. If this just came out, people were like, oh yeah, it was good. I liked the music, and then they just never talked about it again. I'd be totally fine with it.
I'm going to say something right now.
I'm scared.
Bohemian Rhapsody is the greatest showman of 2018.
Oh my gosh. You have no idea how
Yes.
much I hate Greatest Showman. On the nose. Look at you.
All right. Again, I don't have a lot of negative to say about Black Panther. It's right in there with most Marvel movies.
Yeah.
With the exception of Infinity War and Cold War and
Civil War.
Civil War, I'm sorry. And Iron Man 1 and actually the other 2 Captain Americas and all 3 Thors. All of those Marvel movies are better than Black Panther, but it fits in with all of the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not mad that it got nominated. I wish other ones would have got nominated in its place.
I don't think it has a chance in hell of winning.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's okay.
It's whatever. I get it, right? Disney, throw your money at everything.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just interesting that it's nominated for Best Picture and a bunch of craft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the last time that a movie won Best Picture without being nominated for Best Director was Argo, and before that it was like 1946. So there you go. Black Klansman.
I don't have a huge problem with this one. I think Blind Spotting was better. That was a not well-known one at all. I think it handles the themes better. And I liked the performances better in that one. I'm not angry that Black Klansman was nominated, but I'm just kind of like meh on that one.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I enjoyed it when we went and saw it, but I never thought it was going to be Best Picture worthy.
I'd give it like a 4 or 5.
Wow.
I didn't like hate it the way that I feel about like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
I did distinctly dislike Black Klansman though.
Yeah.
I think the editing was very poor. I think specifically back to the sequence where towards the beginning where they're at that rally and it's just like the shadowy faces, just like panning shots of shadowy faces for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
I don't like John David Washington's performance. I think it's bad. Mostly, and I don't know if he does this on purpose, but he sounds exactly like his dad if his dad was trying to be a pompous piece of crap. Well, hello, sir. And like that'd be fine if that was the voice that he put on to talk to the clan, but like that's just how he talks.
Yeah.
And it bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Adam Driver I thought was good, but they had a lot more potential with his character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the entire bomb subplot was intensely ridiculous. And I thought that the ending mini documentary, as people are calling it, was supremely emotionally manipulative. And I think that they stuck it on there so that you wouldn't be able to criticize the film without seeming like a racist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, there are other ways, and not even that you need to. Trust your audience a little bit. Like, they didn't need to so explicitly punch you in the face and say, this isn't just a problem in the 70s, it's still going on today. Like, and it's so hard to discuss because these are actual issues and things that need to be talked about and things that need to be examined. I just don't think this film does it in a very effective way. Again, sorry, jumping back to horrible editing. There's the sequence where there's the Klan rally and the students rally going on at the same time, and it's cutting back and forth between the two speeches.
Mm-hmm.
What an atrocious sequence. Just bad. I didn't know what I was supposed to be feeling there. I didn't know what they were trying to accomplish there, and it's such a long sequence. Bad edit. That's bad editing. In case anybody's wondering, that sequence is bad editing.
Yet it's nominated for Best Editing.
And I think it's going to win. That's what I think is going to win.
So awful.
And here's the thing. Like I said, I think I was very excited to go see it. I think it's a fascinating story that deserves to be told. I don't think that this movie did it justice. That's me. The Favorite is outstanding. I'd have no problem with it winning.
No.
I don't think it will. I'd have no problem with it winning.
Yeah, I'm happy it's nominated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, so it's just so weird because, again, you can see the Academy pandering to Disney and Bohemian Rhapsody. But then they're also nominating The Favorite for Best Picture. Like, who's picking these nominees?
Yeah.
Green Book I haven't seen. Give me your beef, Sid.
All right. So, like I said before, Green Book is very heavy-handed, and it's so overt with its messages, and it's just like, okay, everyone knows racism's bad. You like, oh my gosh, spoiler alert, everyone.
No.
But so a lot of complaints that this movie has, and a big one I have, is it's very repetitive, and it's just that, like, oh, these two guys, they go to this city. Oh, this black guy wants to go somewhere. Oh, he's not allowed to. The white guy comes, fights them. Okay, happens again. Happens over and over.
Yay, Viggo Mortensen, you're an ally.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. The themes really bother me in the movie, that it's just like, oh.
They couldn't figure out a better way to get them across.
Yeah, and yeah. And it kind of just feels like kind of like a white savior almost coming in and like helping this black guy, and it's just
I haven't seen Blindspotting.
Okay.
But if you want to see a much more interesting examination of some of the themes and even more than what Green Book dives into, sorry to bother you.
Yes, that one's so good on so
Because
many levels.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But also gets across a similar message. But it also manages to be anti-capitalist. So
Yeah.
my little socialist heart just gets a fluttering from that movie.
Yeah, that's a great one. Shoot, I just lost it again. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Start talking again, and then I'll pick
I
it
have
up.
nothing more to say about Green Book.
Okay,
So.
shoot.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it either.
What did someone say about it that I?
1, 2.
Oh, it was a really good point, but I can't think of it now.
You'll remember it.
I'll remember it, and then okay.
Jump back in whenever.
Okay.
Roma is astounding. That should win. I think it's going to win. I want it to win. I have no right in this category. Roma is undeniably, in my opinion, the best film that came out last year on pretty much any metric. Suspiria is still my favorite film of the year, my number one. Roma's my number two, and it's mostly because I think that Suspiria is a little bit more watchable, to be honest with you. That's why it becomes my favorite film of the year. But Roma is, without a doubt, in my mind, the best film that came out last year.
And we're still very much enjoying watching it right now.
We're still watching it, yeah.
It's very good. And I agree. I wrote this movie in, but not because I think it's better than Roma. Annihilation, it is my favorite movie of the year, but I really want and think Roma will win.
Okay, I got my thought back for Green Book.
Talk about Green Book.
Okay. So the message it gives is a good message that, racism is bad. But, so I listened to a podcast talk about this. I don't remember what it was called. Sorry. But they were just saying that this would be a good Oscar-worthy movie in the 90s. Where, they weren't really pushing these, super agenda-filled movies with this message. So I think it's more along the lines of, Driving Miss Daisy or something like that, where just, the themes are so obvious that it doesn't really make an impact on people anymore. So that's my last thought on Green Book.
Well,
That's
again,
fair.
especially when you have Moonlight winning, right? Great film.
So good.
A Star is Born. I'd honestly be okay with it winning. I
I'd
don't think it will. I really think that Roma's going to win.
I would love that so much.
See, I've heard that there's kind of people in the Academy don't like this new wave of Netflix and streaming services.
It's so petty.
It's so stupid. But yeah, I would love for either Stars Born, Roma, or The Favorite to win.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Vice is okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, I actually liked it a lot. I don't want it to win. I don't think it's better than A Star is Born or Roma or The Favorite.
It's not offensive that it's nominated in the same way that Bohemian Rhapsody is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of these are as offensive as Bohemian Rhapsody.
No.
I think.
No.
I could find just as many films to list, and the only two that would be the same would be The Favorite and Roma. Maybe A Star is Born.
Yeah.
I think that Suspiria, Hereditary, Annihilation, Into the Spider-Verse,
8th grade.
eighth grade,
Yeah, I put 8th grade.
mid-90s.
Yeah. Way better.
There's
than these.
there's probably at least 10
Blind Spotting.
that I would put before
Infinity
Bohemian
War, for crying out
Rhapsody.
loud.
Yeah.
Death of Stalin, First Man. I think all of these are better than the...
Paddington 2. You cowards.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's it.
Well, I just yelled for so long. I've never yelled this much in my life.
Yeah, that's it for us. Oh no, Roma
Oh, I love
froze.
this scene.
Roma froze.
Oh yeah, I love this scene.
It's so gorgeous.
We're at the scene where she is at Fermin's training grounds.
I hate him.
And she is able to do the pose that the man instructs while nobody else is. It's quite good. But that's it. That gets us through all the categories. That's our beef with the Oscars this year. More than my beef with the Oscars, it's my beef with Disney. And the fact that the Oscars seem to be caving to that Disney money and to their marketing people who think that they understand why the Oscars had the lowest ratings ever last year. It's not because your films made less money. It's because of all your trash, stupid, garbage skits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care about
Yes.
the original song performances, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
But don't cut Sufjan short.
Ever.
Well, you give the
Do it.
bearded lady 50 minutes to do her
Seriously.
crap. And I don't know. Anybody in the Academy, if you're one of our 30 listeners, the Academy Awards are not designed for mass consumption, right? They are for the film nerds and the people who appreciate the craft and the art.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to appeal to as many people as possible is a bad idea, because people aren't mindlessly flipping through their channels at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night and see the Oscars and be like, I think I'll watch this. No, it's your film nerds who are taking the time to watch cable for the first time in a year. And that's who you need to cater to. Make it a 2.5 hour show, whatever. Again, like I said, the first Oscars were 25 minutes long, I think. Right? Make it a 2.5 hour show. Cut your stupid skits. Focus on what you're there for. Award the people. Congratulate each other. And then go to your crazy after parties. I don't care. But trying to make it appeal to as many people as possible is never going to work. And your ratings are just going to keep going down. Because nobody wants to sit around for 4 hours on a Sunday night to, watch people get awards. And I'll tell you this right now. Nobody cares enough about Black Panther to sit around for 4 hours to see if it's going to win Best Picture.
No.
They care enough about it to Google Oscar winners on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
People care enough about Roma and The Favorite and movies like that to sit around for 4 hours to see if they win Best Picture.
Yeah.
Watching Shape of Water win last year was so vindicating and so worth the ridiculous crap that we had to sit through to get there because it was so deserving. Blade Runner was the best film of the year.
But yeah, when they're trying to appease both groups, they're just going to make everyone mad.
Yep.
So it's not going to work. So appease us, please.
The ones who actually care.
The people.
The people who actually care. The people that you're catering to. Like, this is the whole point that they started this.
Yep. All right. That's the end of my Oscars rant.
That's quite the rant.
I can't do this
We're watching
anymore.
Roma. It's great.
I need to calm down. I need to try this pose out.
Yeah, try the pose out. Becca, you have anything left to say?
No, I just want Roma to win everything.
Cool.
That's all.
All right. I'm tapped out. Sid.
I can't do it anymore.
All right. We love you all. Thank you for listening.
Love you.
You can find us at facebook.com/wewatchmovies and then talk about them, or Instagram @movieswewatch. Either of those places, you can slide into the DMs to go ahead and suggest a film. Our normal format is we watch a movie and then talk about it. We just are in Oscar season, so we're doing a special episode. So if you want us to do a film, we might do it.
We might.
If someone actually suggests a film to us, we will watch it.
Yeah, we don't get any suggestions right now, to be honest with you, so give us a suggestion and we'll pretty much do it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. We will talk to you guys next week. We'll see what we end up discussing. We're like several weeks behind, so we've got several to choose from. It's a mystery what'll happen next week. Honestly, we might just, no. In 2 weeks, we'll probably have another episode like this, or a mini-sode to talk about the aftermath of the Oscars. We'll see what we talk about next week. We'll discuss it and let you guys know. I'm Andrew.
I'm Becca.
I'm Sid.
And we love you.
We love you.
Goodbye.
Bye.